Well, hello. I'm sure you wondered why I've gathered you here. And it's cause we do this every week. Hello, friends. The early crew came in so strong today. I'm scrolling all the way back up. DM Chris, welcome in. Paladin Steve, hello. I heard someone say, are we live, Chuck? Teluthia, welcome in. Anoanar, hello. Good to see you. Malachi, hello. New type, welcome in. Good to see you. DM John and DM Chris are going to need to battle it out to see who the real DM is. Russell, welcome in, you fucking skunk. Wiley, welcome in. Noble Shield, hello. Fosco, welcome in. Mark the Shark. KevCon, always a pleasure. The Real Longshot, welcome in. The 16th Crypt Keeper. And did I miss anyone? And Dungeon Mr. Ty. Hello. And Rick, welcome in. It's so good to see you, man. How's it going? How are you guys? Question, I missed the last Castle Zagig live stream and I can't find it in Twitch or YouTube. Is it now a lost episode or can it still be posted to YouTube? It should still be on YouTube. You just might have to go into the live tab on our YouTube channel. You should be able to find it there. But you raise a good point. Maybe we take these live streams and we like make them pretty and like edit them together, and I don't know. That might be in our future. I'm staring down the barrel of a very lengthy video project, and that is, those of you who are in attendance of GaryCon might know this, Steve's big game that he runs for like 25 people. In my opinion, it's the best event at the whole convention. And we filmed the whole thing this time. Philip, welcome in. Good to see ya. Draxter, welcome in. The Lord Dark, hello. How was your weekend, you guys? How's your week been? I don't know how many of you caught. Oh my god, I just got distracted because Old Times Tavern just went live with Adventuring in the World of Aihrde. I was like, Aihrde? I don't know how many of you guys caught our Call of Cthulhu live stream last night over on Guild Superior. I'm still recovering and am not yet fully recovered from the emotional the emotional whiplash of that night, really. Chat was talking about piss. And then in character, I was getting my jimmies rustled, getting real scared. So it was quite a mix of emotions. Michael, good to see you. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in from YouTube. How many of you have done your homework of listening to the very first episode of Aired Out with me and Dungeon Mr. Ty? I feel like that is how Steve imagined these streams going when he hired me, where it's like polished and organized and it's like a good, thoughtful conversation, and then I hop on live and we just yap. Didn't even know about the Cthulhu game. Dude, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/Guild Superior. And you can find all of the sessions on YouTube. Oh my god, I like lost that sentence as I was saying it. Guild Superior on YouTube has like all of the sessions, and they're actually cut up into like half sessions, so they're a little bit shorter and easier to digest. And Dave, who runs the channel, has been doing a really great job like editing down the sessions to make them like, you know, just like getting rid of like long pauses and like that sort of thing. It's very seamless and it's made for a very, very good show. So I would recommend. He get what he get and he don't throw a fit. That's the troll way. Homework done. Yes. I like long, awkward pauses. Me too. But, God, what can I tell you guys about what's going on right now in the troll dens? We are still kind of like figuring out what normal looks like again after the Castle Zagig crowdfunding campaign has ended. I have been editing one of Gary Gygax's world building tomes today. And so my brain is full of all kinds of Gygaxian prose. There's a little bit of a learning curve reading Gary Gygax's material. This is the first like raw like thing of his that I've dove into. A lot of the trolls are more into that stuff than I am. I mostly just advertise it. But they have me doing an editing pass on Living Fantasy. And there was a little bit of a learning curve figuring out that some things that look to me on the page like complete and utter nonsense, absolute gobbledygook word salad that means nothing. There's just like some punctuation missing, and figuring out where to put the punctuation has become a puzzle. That's so cool. Y'all have his notes and content and so forth. It was really cool when we went to the lawyer's office. I think we were at maybe GaryCon or maybe GameholeCon like 2 years ago maybe. And they brought out the box that had like the notes, the physical copies, like the preserved real Gary Gygax notes. I took pictures of like Steve and Jeremy going through them, and especially the pictures of Steve going through them I think are very cool. I've shared heavily redacted versions of those pictures on our socials. It's weird to go back to normal after the last week of Zagig craziness. It must be so much more for the trolls. I have to like remember how to do my job, because normally my job is a lot of multitasking and a lot of managing really disparate like different tasks that take me to different corners of the internet. And with Castle Zagig, I was super busy, but I was very busy with one thing, and so I'm kind of learning how to split my attention again. Have always loved High Gygaxian since a very young age. I'm warming up to it. It just, there's a little bit of a curve. When I was a little kid, I was afraid of underground pools because I thought Jaws would break through the walls and eat everyone. Hi, I'm Russell, and today I'm here to talk about very irrational fears. Wait, what do you mean underground pools? Oh, like, just, like, pools. Wait, what do you mean underground pools? Do you mean, like, pools that are not above ground pools? Underground pools? Aihrde, welcome in. How's it going? Good to see ya. In ground. Yeah, do you mean in ground pools? I would not go in an underground pool. I can tell you that much. I'm not going into like, oh my god, like the clips of like cave diving and like that sort of stuff. Miss me. I'd rather die having never done that. Ever, ever, ever. Super, super scary. Sharks could only get you at the grocery store. Is that a reference to something? There's above ground and underground as far as I'm, you know, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That was on me. That was 100% on me. I'm a big fan of Gary and old school D&D that brought me to CNC. Hey, I'm glad for that. I'm very, very glad to hear that. I don't know. I started with 5e. I say that like my tabletop journey started in the pandemic, but actually that isn't true. I had one. Every time I open my mouth to tell this story, I'm a little bit afraid that the guy is watching. If you're that guy, sorry, but you were super weird. I joined like a random Roll20 game, and I was like, God, I was 22, and I was like, I just want to try D&D, and I didn't have any friends that like did it. And so I found like a random game on Roll20 and I applied to join, and then they let me in and I joined their Discord, and it very quickly turned into a thing where the GM was privately messaging me, like asking for pictures of me, which I sent because I was like brain dead, so stupid, so stupid. Oh, and he was calling me his pop punk goddess, which I don't give like a pop punk vibe. Not really. I like pop punk, but I don't feel like that's my look. Doesn't really scream pop punk. And it turned into this huge thing where like I had some sort of emergency. I don't remember anymore. I might have been sick. But I like had to miss a session. And so he said that he was gonna like himself because I had to miss the session. Oh, it was so bad. And it turned into this thing where I only played a few sessions with them, but he like had the big bad of the campaign try like set up a romance between the evil guy of the campaign and my character, which was crazy. Hey, if you're that guy, I'm sorry for spilling your beans, but your beans are rotten. You can take your beans somewhere else next time. Absolutely horrid. It was Fosco. Don't slander Fosco like that. Absolutely not. Fosco would never. Here's the thing about Fosco. I will say it on the internet because I told Fosco to his face. Fosco photographs extremely well. I met Fosco at GaryCon, and there are pictures of him on the Troller Games Facebook page. I dumped like all of our pictures from GaryCon on there. All of the pictures of Fosco turned out literally so good. So Fosco, I don't know how you do it. Teach me your ways. That's creepy and weird. Yeah, it's and it took me like way too long to realize that like it was inappropriate and bad and that it shouldn't be talked to in that particular way. But you know what? We all figure it out eventually. I'm glad to have found good games after that experience. I'm glad that I did not leave the hobby for good. Fosco already has that charm, is the real deal. The Fosco. Fosco, if you're still here, we're whipping up a fan club here in your honor. Beans are just soggy nuts. I don't like it, but you are right. I fear that you are correct. Could have been worse. Could have set up a what? What could have been worse? Anti-fan club. A friend club. I started with Beck Me Basic set in 84. My stepdad gifted me his entire set of first edition D&D books in 86. That's so cool. That is really, really nice. I wonder if those are like worth anything now. Like good condition, like first edition core books. What's with the softcore adult film music? Hey, Savage, first of all. First of all, side eye. Where'd my mouse go? And second of all, this is in fact Red Sun Fence Psychedelic Western Rock Chill 2 Hours by Cosmic Desert Drift 77. I listen to this track on YouTube all the time. Question: did the last Castle Zagging episode have Luke in it from over the weekend? That's the last one under the live tab on YouTube, but I got a live stream notification on Discord on Monday the 4th. We played without Luke on the 4th, I think. I actually, man, I don't know. Let me take a look. I really don't remember. Let me search it up. Don't start auto-playing anything, please. Yes. Yeah, the Arena of Death, Castle Zagging playthrough. That one we did play with Luke. He did join us for that. That was such a fun time. I was begging people to play the Arena of Death. I was curious about the music as well. Dude, I've been on this like funk train that started when I played Cyberpunk. Oh my god, I don't remember what the actual tabletop RPG... Cyberpunk Red, I guess? The tabletop game, not the video game, although I love the video game. We played a Cyberpunk Red game, homebrewed lightly, to include like space travel, and it was very much like a Cowboy Bebop kind of vibe a little bit, where our party was mercenaries, a group of 3 mercenaries, but also a 3-piece funk band, and so they were trying to make it in both a little bit, and they ended up starting basically a revolt against a corrupt landlord on Mars. And so throughout that campaign I was listening to so much like funk music, and now it's part of my personality, unfortunately. Yes, no Luke on the 4th. Luke did join us for the Arena of Death, but then when we played the Black Reservoir... Wait. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, you guys are right. Luke joined us for the Arena of Death, and then when we played again this Monday, 2 days ago, we played in the Black Reservoir, and he did not join us for that. I feel as if an opportunity was missed not having Luke play on stream on May the 4th. You're almost certainly right. I'll take any opportunity to play with Luke. He's a blast and a lot smarter than me. Jeremy has voice game. His orcs, man, they're extremely believable. Arena of Death is so cool. Love Jeremy's voice as the Oni. Here's the thing about Turaga. That's my wife. And I love her. I just love her personality. She's so cool, dude. She's so rock and roll. She's just an ogre or an orc or whatever the fuck, living in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, hosting a fucking game show. She's the definition of fuck it, we ball. I love her. The actual play of the Reservoir didn't save to Twitch or YouTube. That's weird. Thank you for letting me know. I will look into that. I kind of noticed that. I saw the Arena of Death playthrough on YouTube, but I got like tripped up because I didn't see the Black Reservoir. I'll look into that and see what happened. There's a live stream missing. Gosh dang it. Bummer, dude. We'll get that fixed. In between remembering how to be a troll and do troll work. Can you and Nick just teach me from the ground? Teach you what? The funniest thing about Luke was watching his childhood paranoia / PTSD going through the dungeons made by his dad. I was thinking about him today. Nick is currently working through the Canting Crew. So hey, all of you World Builders Archive backers, rest assured work is happening. We're getting much closer to fulfillment on those. But we were looking through like the Canting Crew, like the Cant dictionary. We have a book called The Cant. It's a soft cover that was, I think, a backer kit exclusive release for not the World Builders Archive, but a campaign that came before that one, as like a piece of teaser content. And I had heard, I think from Luke, or maybe Steve told me, or I heard this from someone. Luke will have to chime in if this is slander, but he would be quizzed on the Cant, like given a phrase and like told to like, hey, what does it mean? It would be very cool to be fluent in the Cant. Stam Flash. D&D and CNC? Here's the thing. I feel like I watched so much gameplay of D&D that by the time I started playing, I had a grip on it. I had a better idea of how to do it than I thought I did. Also, you guys let me know if the music is too loud, because I can adjust that down. I just kind of noticed it looks like it's a little loud. That was 5e. That's true. I don't think C&C is harder to learn than D&D. I feel like C&C kind of has less rules. You gotta edit out the break though when Steve said a little too much about something, not realizing you were live. Oh shit, maybe that's why it was taken off. The porno western music is fine. Thank God. Thank God the porno western music is fine. I want to know what he was talking about. I won't ask y'all to repeat it, because I guess if you didn't want it on the internet, then I guess we shouldn't spread it. But I am curious, and I've never gotten to hear more. Oh my god. Okay, I can't tell you guys anything about it. But we had another meeting today that I can't tell you about. Something is brewing in the dens. That's all I'll say about it. We've got something very big coming. I'm gonna have to add this music to my work playlist. Dude, do it. Let me see if I can link it. Sometimes you like can't link things in chat. Let's see if it'll let me. Nick has made me something of a connoisseur of like work music, and I'm grateful for it every day. Is it about mutant? It is not about mutants. Act 3 of Castle Zagging back again. One more time. I have gotten a lot of emails. A lot of emails this week from people being like, I was just minutes late to Castle Zagging Act 2. Is there any way I can still pledge? I'm like, oh my god, I want to say yes, dude. It's unfortunately not within our ability to do that. I hope we do late pledges. I guess we'll see. Now that I've like vague posted and dropped a shapeless bomb all over everything, what do you say we maybe talk a little bit about the Castle of Spires? Kevin. Kev, never let anybody say that I'm not a mean troll. I blame those people for not continuing the pledges. I hope you roast them via email. Yeah, I'm like, where were you? Where were you at 12:06? On like Saturday or Sunday, or when did it end? Monday? The days are all kind of blending together now. Tuesday? Yesterday was Tuesday. Who knows? Who knows anymore? Was it like Tuesday midnight that it all ended? I really don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Not I. It's over. It's done. But we're going to talk about Castle of Spires. So if you are new here at 12:12, don't you bring up 12:12, Ty. Don't you say 12:12 to me. He's just standing there saying 12:12 menacingly. You guys, you have to watch the Call of Cthulhu game. Subscribe to Guild Superior on YouTube. Look up Kozlov's Mummy. That's the name of the series, and watch it. This cast is absolutely incredible. I think it's my favorite actual play that I've ever been a part of. And Guild Superior is just an excellent channel that curates a lot of talent. And they do like some open casting for like actual plays. So, hey, Russell and company, any of y'all that are like interested in learning a little bit about like how to do an actual play, they are an excellent community. Very, very cool people. But we were talking about Castle of Spires. How long will it take me to finish a sentence about Castle of Spires? If you are newer here, if you've not been following our read through this far, we are reading through The Castle of Spires, which is a novella by Steve Chenault, and it follows the tale of Meltaug Lothian, who is an elven prince. The story takes place during the Winter Dark, which is the 1,000-year period in which all of Aihrde is ruled over by Unklar, the Horned God, who makes all sorts of fun changes, like destroying the Wall of Worlds and replacing it with the Shroud of Darkness so that no sunshine touches. Oh my god, dude! Tim jump scare. Oh my god. Dude, thank you so much for gifting those subs, man. We really appreciate it. Welcome in, Tim. How's it going? You guys follow Stronghold. They do extremely cool stuff. Speaking of amazing communities, I hope all is well in your world, Tim. We were just talking about the story tonight. Toppy and Body update. I've not heard anything more. I need more. I need to know more of the story, and I haven't heard anything else. But, right? You're still thinking about it. Am I right? Like, I'm not the only one. Every time I put my hands on screen, I'm reminded that I lost three of my nails. Didn't one die? One mostly died. It was Body. Body mostly died, but survived. Body lived. A piece of Body was able to be recovered. Hey, Death Angel Shadow, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Lovely to have you, and thank you for the sub. I'll say this all the time. I appreciate you guys for tossing money at the Troller Games Twitch. We never rely on, like, making money here, and so when people subscribe, it enables us to take that money and put it back into Twitch so that we can, like, do more stuff. And it's very cool, so thank you all very much. God in heaven, this again. Listen, Jeremy, I didn't bring it up, okay? It's not just me. You learn the tale of Toppy and Body, and it worms its way into your heart. It gets in there. Slime Love or Bust. Draxter, we are on the same wavelength. Exactly. That is what I'm talking about. Anyway, Castle of Spires. So we're following Meltaug Lothian. Long day for me, about like that 12-hour live. Oh my god, dude. Davis and I finally called it at like 4 a.m. that night. It was a blast. I had a great time. It was super fun talking about Enzo with him. And it was cool hanging out with everybody. Does Stronghold sub apply to Monday nights? Sure, why not? Tim, if you want, you can give out 5 rerolls. So sleepy. It was a very sleepy time. Extremely sleepy. Speaking of sleepy, so is Meltaug Lothian, who has just finally found the Fair Lady of Gilgum. Meltaug Lothian has returned to the world of Aihrde under the command of the Princess Londea, and he, under her command, well, basically the two of them fight orcs, and they fight all of the creatures of the Winterdark, and eventually she goes missing at the end of a 7-year-long war where the orcs basically storm into the forest where the elven forces are hiding to essentially root them out. The orcs and the minions of Unklar sustain heavy losses during this time. They lose almost their entire force. It's decimated. But so too are the elves, and so they count this a win. Londea is lost during this time, and so Meltaug Lothian goes and tries to find her, finds nothing except the plume of her helmet, and assumes, sadly, that she has been slain. And so the Castle of Spires story basically tracks the journey of Meltaug Lothian as he attempts to find the Castle of Spires, which, according to legend, contains the means for him to summon all of the elves back to Aihrde to fight the Winterdark. That's his goal. And he's also going mad due to a curse. And so he's doing all this as he is going mad. So now you're caught up. I took a day off. He told me to. Yeah. I'm very glad to hear that. How was your day off? Did you do anything fun? It was gray. It was gray today. I hope it wasn't gray up where you are too. Taking the day off just means you get put on another project. I will say Steve is very Steve is pretty kind about like noticing when you're tired and telling you to get lost for the day. He's done that to me a couple of times. Jeff, hello, welcome in. Good to see you. Works my other job. How'd that go? Nice. Moved scrap steel into a dumpster. Meditative in a way. Good times. Very good times. But now that we're caught up and I've yapped for 31 minutes, I think it's time that maybe we jump back into the 6th chapter of the Castle of Spires. There's no other job except Castle Zaggig. There's no world beyond Castle Zaggig. Yeah, we were all talking about your voice of Taraga and how awesome it was. Everyone was like, fuck, what did everyone say? Let me scroll up. If it even like saved all this. Shit. I think it's gone. Oh no, I never responded to fucking Aihrde. I'm so sorry. Aihrde, if you're still here. Was reviewing the adventure that we translated into Portuguese. That's so sick. New to the CNC community, what is the stream about? Dagaz, hello, welcome in. So glad to have you. Hi, we talk about Aihrde. Aihrde is Castles and Crusades flagship fantasy setting. You obviously don't need to play in Aihrde in order to play CNC, but Aihrde is a fully developed fantasy world with over 25 years of development and 12,000 years of in-game history that is all written. And so right now we are reading through The Castle of Spires, which is a novella written by Steve, set in Aihrde. And I just gave the full synopsis of where we are so far in the story, so I won't do it a second time, but it's okay. Not much has happened. You'll be able to catch up pretty quick. Personally liked my old sea dog voice for the Cistern Keeper. I kind of did want to adopt him, even though that probably would have resulted in his death. Sometimes you just want to bring like the fun NPC along with you, so you can keep hearing the voice. I'm waiting for you to kill Robin so that I can bring in Pesto. Robin's about to drown. Pesto is waiting in the wings, although I've not picked out a class for them yet. His name, which never came up, was Agrippa. Poor Agrippa. I feel bad for him. He's just down there, alone, staring off into space. I want to take him with us. I'm playing with a group in the Darkenfold. Fell crud, forgot. Nice. I love the Darkenfold. We are also a little bit in the Darkenfold in this story. Meltaug is our protagonist. He has just discovered, this is a flashback, he has discovered the plume worn by his commander and love, the Princess Landea, in the Mistbane River. And so we're learning more about him. Mother Anna said she could break his gas. For what? For why? For just his locks of hair that he was gonna give us and then didn't? Because we were sketchy? Adopting NPCs is a must in games, only to drive the DM crazy. When I was running my really long 5e game, someone had the ability to talk to animals, and so I had to make up this like dumb rat personality on the fly, and his name was Distinguished Gentleman, and he was a rat with a little white circle on his butt. And that rat, one of the party members traded their soul to a fae to preserve the life of the rat. And they eventually awakened the rat so that the rat could be a full sentient, conscious personality, I suppose. On Foundry, I learned that it rains a lot in the Darkenfold. Loving the game and the setting. Dude, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for popping in here and for hanging out. Are you part of our Discord? If not, we can grab the link for you. She can almost certainly do it. The hair is just so she has power over him. Gotcha. Yeah, certainly she wouldn't do it for free, right? Well, dang. I hate to leave him down there, but who knows? Maybe she would put him in even a worse situation. Okay, now that I've yapped for 36 minutes, we're gonna jump back into Castle of Spires with the 6th narrative, the 6th chapter of the novella. We're going to be starting on page 26. If you have a copy of the Castle of Spires and want to be following along, I'm going to do a little bit of reading. I might read this chapter, maybe the 7th chapter, and then we'll probably hang out and chat some more. Pesto will rescue him. Hello, everybody. My name is Pesto. I'm pretty much here to take all this bad stuff and make it good again. I'm pretty much here to defeat all the bad guys, kick their freaking butts, and get the freaking heck out of here. I can't wait for Robin to drown. So my perfectly reasonable, regular elven rogue, so I can bring in Pesto, the gnome. I can't wait. Would Pesto have the capacity to identify that the Nixies are dangerous? Freaking Pesto is pretty much the sharpest tool in the shed. Thank you very much. Probably. I guess we'll see. I've also got Castle Zagig. Hey, dude, nice. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. We're very excited to bring Castle Zagig back to life. I think one of my favorite campaign quests I made was to have a sentient ring that controls people who wear it, and it reverse pickpockets itself to people moving through a city to get to a target. That is awesome. That's extremely cool. Does Pesto like green or something? No, I thought it was funny. I just thought it was a funny name. Isn't it sweet? Hello, my name is Pesto. It's just I like how it feels to say it. Pesto. Alright, anyway, enough about Pesto. I'm gonna read Castle of Spires and we're gonna learn more about an elven prince who's losing his mind. Get yourself a cozy beverage, settle in. The yapping will continue, but we're going to chat a little bit about Castle of Spires first. Troza! God, I should have changed the music first. Hang on. I know you'd rather talk about Pesto. Here's the thing. You do know me pretty well. And you're not wrong. Whoops. Shit. Hang on. Putting on music. That's pretty cool. 4-hour dungeon ambient music, The Dungeon of the Dark Pyramid by Soundscapes and Ambiance. Mushroom hat, yay or nay? Oh, yay! Oh my god, absolutely. Are you kidding? Yes. But not like a red and white cat mushroom. Like a weird mushroom. Slime mold! Okay. Anyway, the 6th narrative. I'll start with a little italicized bit that kind of talks about what this chapter is going to cover, and then we'll jump right in. Lately, Meltaug has learned of the Castle of Spires and its elven guardian, and he seeks that magical place to force his kin to return. To find it, he has sought out the fair lady of Gilgum and come to the doorsteps of Alfstrag. Attacked and wounded, he lies in the mire of the swamps, bleeding and wondering upon his life. So we are still in the flashback, where he has discovered that his princess and the woman he loves, Landea, has probably died. Landea's plume floated in slow turns down the waterway and into the distance until it was lost in the bubbling turmoil of the Mistbane River. Without a glance behind him, Meltaug gathered his weapons, mounted his steed, and rode into the hills in search of those knights of the princess's guard who might yet live. The Lunar Knights, these are her knights, numbered over 1,000 souls before the Battle of Blue Creek, but their numbers were diminished and scattered. But Meltaug would seek them out anyway, and they would carry the battle to the enemy. In time, he gathered to him a band of 70 of the knights. They were well equipped and mounted on hardy steeds. Others, he knew, avoided him and hid themselves in the hills and between the mists. He could feel them. Their shame was palatable. He could hear their whispers. They told themselves that they were tired, that the war was too much, too hard, too hopeless. So they stayed, hidden, wrapped in the shadows of doubt and night. He cared not for them and turned his back on them, for they would fade with time and leave no mark or memory beyond the stain of their infamy and fear. But those he did gather followed him to the banks of the Danao River on the easternmost edges of their homelands. Across the river stood the ruins of Keomar and the great hordes of orcs that ruled that kingdom of noble men. Beyond the river stood the Heart of Darkness, the fiefs of Unklar, the horned god. He spoke then these words to those who followed him. We have been at war for many years, and it seems that the enemy is without count, and that all we do is for naught, and they grow but stronger as we storm against them. It seems vain and pointless. The battles go on, the dead mount up, and the struggle for freedom is lost in the pain of sorrow. But know that this pain of sorrow you nurse is nothing to the ignominy of weak men. Know that we were at war long before the darkness came. Know that they have hated us for years without count. Know that they have nurtured this hate and fed it and thrived upon it long before we knew of them. They hate us, for we are what they wish to be. They hate us, for we live free, and all of our people live free. Know that they will never stop. They will keep coming for us. They will pursue us to the ends of the world, no matter the course we follow, for they hate us so. So to you, brethren, a call to arms. Gird your shields, take up your spears and swords, and let us bring the battle to them. No more holding our ground and waiting for them. Let us cross this river into their kingdoms and lay waste to them and all they hold dear. Let us carve upon their brows the fury of our rage. There, across the deep waters, are the sands of the enemy. Let us cross now, bring the battle to them. Let us tear down their walls and towers and bring ruin upon them. And let us never forget the slaughter of our kindred until our rage has washed the shores of their kingdoms clear of ignorance and spite. Vow now, my lords, vow that we will be as stout as those who came before, and that we will never quit, never yield, never give to the enemy his respite. Vow now to wage war until victory stains our standards with the blood of those who would destroy us. With that, they crossed the Danao River and into the northern plains of Keomar. They numbered 65 knights and warriors all. They rode chargers cased in barding, and they carried high shields and wore plate of steel. They followed a dark road into the east, bringing the devastation of war to their unforgiving enemy. They came first to the castle of an orc lord named Umolar. With him were a great host of orcs, armed for war and lately returned from a raid on the men of the wilds. Omolar scoffed from his high walls when he saw the elves approach, and he rode forth with his host. With him were many men who had joined the legions when Keomar had fallen. They had with them their families, and other peoples who found refuge from the war beneath the banners of the victorious orcs. Olmular gathered his host of infantry in rows, and they lowered their spears and polearms. God, I need Jeremy's power of orc voices, but I unfortunately don't have that. How now, elf? Your race is degraded and gone. You haven't the stomach for war anymore. Go back to your houses and towers, write for us some pretty poetry, and contemplate the world's meaning. The flowers and the pretty philosophies you cherish by the campfires. You want for understanding, and you cannot find it in the blood of your demise. Quiet now, and we'll let you go home in peace. For a time. Hey, Azur. Oh, and Fosco, thank you for the sub, my friend. The Prince Lothian smiled, a grim smile. War is a price we pay for peace. He called to his men, and they gathered themselves in one great line. The prince took the far right flank, and his cousin Venerioth took the far left. All those who stood between them were grim and faced death without fear, and only a hint of sorrow. The horns sounded again, and the horse of the knights leapt forward with a power that shook the earth. The orcs, filled with the lust of their masters, did not yield but stood their ground, waiting for the feast of death that would follow. The clash of arms rang upon the field as the elven soldiery crashed into the ironclad orcs. Their glaives, bills, and pikes splintered against barding chain and shields, and the horse clove through their ranks, crushing them beneath ironclad hooves or tossing them aside like leaves in the wind. The elves rode on high and washed a path of blood and sinewy bone upon the green earth with axes and swords. They ground the enemy beneath them, cutting limbs from bodies or heads from necks. Some few were overwhelmed by valiant orcs or men, but these called for aid, and others turned and came about. The melee was thick, and the battle cries hard amidst the clash of arms and the horrid hewing sound of flesh and bone. But the orcs were overwhelmed, and soon dismayed, and the grind of the battle saw them cast upon the ground like so much refuse. The elves turned about again and washed against the walls of the castle, slaughtering all who would stand. And the orcs, though they fought like cornered lions, died in droves, and their bodies piled high upon the ground. At the last, the orcs were slain and destroyed, and the castle fired. The body of Olmular was separated from his head, which made a decoration for a pole upon the road. The men of Keomar who had served the orcs threw down their arms and welcomed the elves as liberators. They fell upon their knees and asked for aid and comfort. But Meltaug saw them for what they were, fair-weather friends of courage and victory. Victory? Fair-weather friends of courage and victory. God. Victorly? I keep saying victorly. You get it. Honorless dogs who had survived the fall of their own kingdom by joining those who destroyed it. Kill them all, fire their homes and wagons, and drive their livestock to the wilderness. So, the elves fell upon the faithless men and their kin. They destroyed them utterly, and scattered their wealth into the wilderness. Upon the field of slaughter were heaped over 400 orcs and some 300 humans. The elves left them where they lay, but one of the knights had fallen, and they gathered him and lay him upon a pyre of wood. With prayers to Aihrde, they set him afire and watched as his spirit broke free from its earthly bonds. They quit the field soon thereafter, leaving the wreck and ruin of the castle and village behind them. They named themselves anew, calling themselves the Vale Knights, and they swore allegiance to their troubled prince, for they saw in him the race of elves as they had been in their youth, when they were unafraid of the world and not lost in the comforts of their myopic philosophies. They did not seek refuge, or even hold the hopes that they would rebuild their lost realms, but rather they sought redemption in the eyes of the world, for the perfidious cowards their race had become. And the Vale Knights revealed themselves to people of Unclar's fiefs in a rage of battle that washed over them in blood and iron. They brought war to every quarter of the Horned God's realm, for they did not rest, but rather pursued their tasks with grim determination. They attacked caravans on lonely roads, burned towns and villages, invested castles, and plundered holds and dungeons. They struck the enemy with amazing speed. At one moment, they sacked a town along the upper reaches of the Saline River, vanishing for weeks as they raced across the country to strike the enemy upon the shores of the inner sea. Many of their company fell, lost to the terrors of war, but others joined them. Hopeless souls, lost in a sea of their enemy, who saw the Vale Knights as the heroes of a lost world. Meltaug led this band through the long centuries and in many battles. The number of his victims was innumerable, but this did not trouble him, as he carried the war of his revenge against the enemy. Men and orcs, giants and goblins, dragons, and even at times elves fell to the madness of his blade. In time, he grew to wonder where his people were, and he heard rumors of hidden places where elven lords watched the world unfold and kept their peace through magics and sorcery. So it was that the Castle of Spires came to his mind, but he did not know where it lay. He cast about for one who could. He scattered the company over the lands of the orc kingdoms of the Gelderland and told them to await his call. Hey, Zion the Potato, welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for the follow. We're reading through Castle of Spires. We're going to do probably this chapter, and then we're just going to hang out. Cloaking himself in sorcery, he learned of the Oanthuil. Meltaug left his armaments behind him and traveled to Freiburg, where there was much magic of the old world hidden. There he found a man who claimed the lineage of a great magi of the days before the winter dark. He asked him where he could find hidden paths to one's desire, and if any lived who did not dwell at the pleasure of the dark. He was careful in his language to hide himself and his purpose. And the soothsayer cast spells upon water and called upon the bastard gods to aid him. In time, his sorcery yielded the name of the Fair Lady of Gilgum, who lived yet in the swamps around Alfstrog, the Gausum land. I think that should be Grousum. Is it Grousum land? Hey Drew, thank you for the follow. Here, master, is your answer. This lady, whoever she is, can lead you to the paths of your dreams, whatever they be. How shall I find this fair lady, soothsayer? Those swamps are filled with pestilence, and they lay upon the knees of the enemy's throne. That is not mine to riddle, O master, but yours. Meltaug glowered upon the man so that he withered. So be it. In your tales of these days, leave off. No, that's him. That's Meltaug, not the soothsayer. So be it. So be it. In your tales of these days, leave off that I ever came here, soothsayer, or asked these questions of you. The soothsayer smiled a crafty grin. But, O Lord, who would I tell? Who would believe that I met a troubled prince of the elves in these dark times? And if someone did believe me, what then? What recompense would I gain from my stories? What recompense, indeed? Meltaug sneered so that his lip turned up upon itself, and his white teeth shone beneath his pale skin. What then, master? What compensation? The soothsayer smiled a clever smile and twisted his own face to mock the diligence of his victim. The prince sighed. The slow exhalation of breath leaving spoke of some relaxation of muscles. The soothsayer smiled. With the speed of an animal, Meltaug lunged and grasped the man by the throat. Lifting him off the ground, he drove his horrified form against the wall, and with a twist and slash, opened the man from his sternum to his groin so that his bowels and much of his chest spilled upon the floor. You should read the future more carefully, dog. He turned then from the habitation of the town and gathered his armaments to him. South of Freiburg, he came to a small stream of clear water that followed a twisted cleft in the earth and plains. He drew his horse up and watched the country a great while. At last, he dismounted, moved to the water, and slipped his hand into the cool shallows. He spoke to the water, letting the holly overhear him and carry the message to his people, the Vale Knights. He called on them to travel the Straits of Ursal or the Amber Sea and meet him upon the shores of Enochia at the roots of the Aneng tree. Okay, and then here the flashback ends. Okay. Meltaug lurched forward from the tree. The stink of the swamps, the smell of his own blood, the taste of thick bile all brought him back to his condition. The horrible wound in his side had stymied some, clogged with torn flesh, bits of metal and cloth. Slowly he pulled himself up, and using Noxmoros, that's his sword, as a staff, he staggered to the water's edge. There he lay and quenched his parched lips. Okay, that is the end of chapter 6. This is kind of paced like an anime. Where like little bits of things are happening in the present tense, but then we're getting these extended flashbacks. 2, 3, 4. Okay, the 7th chapter is only 4 pages long. I'm gonna do a poll. Hang on. This poll is only on Twitch, so if you're watching elsewhere, come over to Twitch or just, I don't know, hang out. Alright, you guys decide what the vibe is. I'm gonna only just do the poll for 2 minutes. We can do chapter 7 or we can just hang out. Artifact sword? Intelligent? I mean, it has a name. You know, I bet Noxmoros is probably some sort of enchanted thing. I don't think it probably has its own intelligence, but I bet it is cursed. They describe how Noxmoros was made. Let me see if I can find that. Okay. The answer is in there, but I'm not gonna... I'm not gonna just sit here in silence and scroll for it. Tempting though that is. What's going on? Alright, we got 2 votes to read chapter 7. We can read chapter 7. 11% participation in the vote. It must be America. Ouch. 3 votes for chapter 7, 1 vote for yapping and hanging out. Do you guys have any questions about the story so far? I don't know if I can answer them, but it's possible. I do like the chapter where he finds the Lady of Gilgum, and it looks like she is finally approaching him, so there will be some action. Okay, we are for sure reading chapter 7. Okay. The 7th narrative. Meltaug has learned of the Castle of Spires and its elven guardian, and he seeks that magical place to force his kin to return. To find it, he has sought out the fair Lady of Gilgum and come to the doorsteps of Aufstrag. Attacked and wounded, he lies in the mire of the swamps, bleeding. Page 33, Trolza. Meltaug bound his wounded arm with pieces of tattered cloak and gathered himself together. His armor had taken many a hard hit and sat awkwardly on his shoulders. He discarded it, keeping only a chain shirt and his helm. His shield, too, was missing, lost in the muck and mire of the Gaussum land. But his horse, after some searching and calling, he found upon a hillock. It stood beneath the overhang of a large dead tree, its massive frame outlined against the gray-green country. Meltaug pulled himself up by the saddle horn, and sitting at last back in his saddle, leaned forward. "Old friend, we must be off. We have many days' journey ahead of us, for we have yet to find the fair lady." "You have found me, Prince of the Dire Heart." Meltaug started, and at the sudden motion he felt the blood ooze anew from beneath the tattered bandages. He swooned a little, for his arm ached and he had no rest from the day's previous battle with the undead. But despite this, he reached for his blade. "No need, Prince. I mean you no harm." "How then, lady? How am I supposed to judge you, coming from the dark of the swamp upon my trail? Some fiend, more like, than the object of my quest, which lies many hundreds of miles from here." He dropped from his horse, but held the reins in his hand. "A fiend indeed. It is for fear of a fiend that I have come to you. Do you really suppose that I have lived here, beneath the shadow of the Horned God, for these many years without detection by luck? I am the Lady of Gilgum, and I heard your approach despite the distance. I have watched you for many days now. Over sea and land you have traveled for me to reveal the object of your desire. I am no paltry kitchen witch, Prince." Meltaug looked upon her as she approached from the gloom. She was beautiful, and clad in gowns that passed through the water without the damage of stain. Her hair was long, reddish in hue, and fell about her shoulders in gentle rings and wide curls. Her eyes were green, and reminded him of the seagrass of the Odine oceans, deep and gentle. She laid a hand upon his arm, and ran it the length of his biceps to the wounded shoulder. Her long fingers were alabaster and strong. "Anu el Thul," she muttered. The wound closed, and the tired muscles were refreshed. "I am the Lady of Gilgum, and I have lived in these swamps for all these years beneath the rage of Unklar. Before him, these were hills, warm and beautiful, with tall trees and grasses that my folk made merry over. But they are no more, lost in the cavity of the winter dark. Hey, Lorca Zumba! Jay, how's it going, my friend? Hello! Cherry Blossom, I can't wait to play with you tomorrow. Let's go. How's it going, you guys? How was your stream? How was everything? What did you guys get up to? Tell me all about it. Hang on. Doing a shout out real quick. So good to see you guys. Thank you so much for the raid. How was everything? How was your game? Were you guys playing? I got to assume you guys were playing. Right now we are reading through the Castle of Spires. See you tomorrow night? Yeah, let's go. Hey, talk show. That sounds fun. This has been something of a talk show itself. What I do here on Wednesdays, hi, if you've never been here before, welcome. Every Wednesday, I get on live to talk about the world of Aihrde, which is the flagship fantasy setting for Castles and Crusades that has over 25 years of development and 12,000 years of written in world history and lore. So today we're reading through the Castle of Spires, which is a novella set in Aihrde. It was written by Stephen Chenault, and it takes place during the Winter Dark, which is a 1,000-year period of basically apocalypse for the people of Aihrde, where they are all ruled over by a tyrannical and evil god, I guess, called Unklar, the Horned God. And the backstory of that is that the elves saw this coming and peaced. They were like, we're good. See you later. Goodbye. And so the elves left Aihrde, abandoning the people to their fate. In retribution, one of the elves who decided to stay cursed all of his people. And so this story follows the tale of Meltaug Lothian, who is one who I think might have initially fled and then returned to Aihrde or something like that. And so he is suffering from the effects of the curse and is falling deeper and deeper into madness and committing more and more atrocities in his search for revenge. And he has learned of a way to potentially force his people back to Aihrde to fight Unklar and end the Winter Dark. So that is Meltaug's mission, and he has just met the Fair Lady of Gilgum, who is said to be someone who can lead you to the object of your desire, no matter what it is. So that's where we're at. And now they're talking and they're bantering, and the Fair Lady is very the Fair Lady is cool. I like her. How was your talk show? How was everything? Tell me all about it. Hope you all had a lovely, lovely night. Thank you for hanging out. We are going to finish up this chapter and then probably just like hang out and chill for a little bit. So if you feel like hanging out and chilling, listen to like 2 pages of prose and then we're going to hang out and chill. Elf said, bye, Felicia. Or like, see ya. Yeet. Anyway, now for something completely different. Jerry, thank you for the follow. I'll start at the top of this paragraph. Okay. The wound closed and the tired muscles were refreshed. I am the Lady of Gilgum, and I have lived in these swamps for all these years beneath the rage of Unklar. Before him, these were hills, warm and beautiful, with tall trees and grasses that my folk made merry over. But they are no more, lost in the cavity of the winter dark. It is but one of the many sorrows inflicted on our world by his lust. Lust. Lust is not a word I would use to describe our enemy. Not lust, but envy. He is born of the envy of all things he cannot be and cannot have. He makes himself and his followers empty promises of a life of wealth and power, but they are foolish, and follow a foolish god, for he brings them nothing but suffering, and a poverty of spirit that we cannot imagine, or perhaps I cannot imagine. I do not suffer from a poverty of spirit, if that is what you imply, my lady, but rather I suffer from a defect of my birth, being born to a race of creatures who haven't even the courage to allow others to fight for them. I suffer from a lifetime spent in the company of philosophers who cherish an idea more than their own lives. These tyrants of the mind are weak and they think they are strong. They have empathy for the unknown, but none for the suffering of their kin. I know. Her voice was calm, and her eyes cast him upon a sea of calm waters, where the wind was fair but not hard, and the air was warm but not stifling. Your road is a hard one, Prince of the Dire Heart, Meltaug the Cursed. And sadly, I may not offer you refuge from your hard road, or a place to rest, for your rage would attract the enemies I hide from so well, and I would be no more. But come, we have bantered enough here. What would you have of me? What thought or desire has driven you to me? She was hopeful, but sad, and he wondered at her. I have come, for I had it from a soothsayer, that you could unravel my heart's desire, and aid me in this war. Your heart's desire. Her eyes washed over him again. He saw himself in a different place, and a different time, when comfort defined his being, when unfulfilled desires were unknown. But the fleeting moment was gone, the memory like dust in a dry desert. You have matured, Prince. You have evolved. You have come into contact with the secret of sentient creatures. What secret, lady? He was growing impatient of the banter. Never mind. You will learn it in time, as we all must. But suffice it to say, we cannot forget our history, for in the dusty pages of long ago are the true riddles of not only who we are, but what we are. But my desires are not for the past, but the future. Tell me, fair lady of Gilgum, what is my deepest desire? She smiled, and turned from him to walk only a short few feet up the hillock. Kneeling, she found a small nook in the roots of a tree. Cleaning it of debris in a moment, she had before her and him a small clear pool of water. Small bubbles trickled from under the root, denoting a spring of some sort beneath the water. There used to be a fountain here. It tapped into a spring that watered a small town in the days of the Enochians. It was very peaceful. White cobblestones and clean gardens. I used to come here from time to time, for the peaches were delicious. It is no more, of course, and the trees are all gone. But the land breathes a little through this water. On sudden, the water turned milky white, and for a fleeting moment Meltaug saw streets and white marble houses. But that was gone, and in its place stood a dark forest, trees tall and straight, whose roots were woven together in knots, like corded ropes. In the deeps, darker shadows moved. Lunging into view, dominating the foreground, was a large Ungaren warrior. His head a shock of black fur, ringed in horns and snout, long and filled with serrated teeth. He was bedecked in chains and strange armaments, He carried a cleaver with jagged edges and called or howled some barking shout to the wooded wall. A blur passed from the woods and fell upon the Ungern champion, and he went down. Upon his breast a huge wolf, black as pitch with green eyes. The Ungern rolled about, throwing chains wide and looping them about the beast's neck. With a massive surge, he flipped the creature over onto its back and drug it to him. The Ungern was filled with rage and lust and laughed as he, with one hand, pulled on the chain, keeping the beast at bay, and with the other, chopped down with his cleaver. The wolf howled in rage, and though no sound came through the small windowed pool, Meltaug thought he could hear the creature's pain. In his turn, the wolf rolled over, planting his feet in the hard earth and pulling back upon the chains as he morphed into a man, an elf, pitch black as the dark woods. His hands wrapped around the chains, he yanked the surprised Ungern forward so that he fell at the elf's feet. In a moment, he was back to wolf shape, morphing as he lunged down on the Ungern's exposed back. Massive jaws clamped onto the back of the Ungern's skull, and he died instantly. The wolf looked over his shoulder. "Hey, critical fail DM, no way!" Everyone be cool. Everyone be cool. Don't embarrass me. Don't talk about piss. Don't talk about anything weird. How's it going, you guys? So good to see you. Thank you so much for the raid. I love your guys' stuff. Are you kidding? You raided me? My age? Welcome in, my friends. Hello, hello. Talk about molds inside. No. Don't bring up the slime mold. Don't bring up slime mold romance. Don't do it. Welcome in, you guys. Hey, all you Troll Lord viewers, if you like really cool actual plays and just cool people in general, follow Critical Fail DM, please. I would consider it a personal favor. They are extremely cool, extremely awesome, like, group of friends that does some really, really great actual plays. Y'all rock. Chat, if you talk about piss or slime molds, I'm gonna have a conniption. Thank you so much for the raid. Shit, I forgot how to stream. Hang on. Let me do a shout out. Wait. How's it going? How was your stream? What did you guys do today? Can we mention frogs and black pudding? Dubious. That is dubious. Resident Evil Requiem. Man, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I can't do horror games. I'm doing my very first ever Call of Cthulhu actual play right now, and that has been about I think we've walked up, we've towed the line of my spooky scary tolerance. Neither can we. Rip. Hey, Jasper, thank you for the follow, my friend. We've been making our way through Resident Evil Requiem, and it's been emotional. Here's the thing. My name's Grace. I hear that the main character's name is Grace. I don't know if I can, you know, where it's like, it's just a little too close to home. I think I'm good. I think I'm set. I think I'm all good. I think I'm all set on that forever, pretty much. Thank you. I struggle with scary too. I make highlight reels of our streams and it's mostly me screaming. That's too real. By the end of our Call of Cthulhu game last night, I was like that, pretty much. Okay, hang on. So we are going to finish this chapter. We've been reading through the Castle of Spires, hi, hello, welcome in. Hi, I'm Grace. I work for Troller Games, and every Wednesday we go live and talk about Aihrde, which is our flagship fantasy setting and my obsession, basically. With Dungeon Mr. Ty, together, he and I have created a podcast called Aired Out, where we do a more structured conversation about the lore of Aihrde and just kind of explore it. But every Wednesday, I get to fuck around and y'all get to find out. So today we're reading through The Castle of Spires, which is a novella set in Aihrde by Stephen Chenault, who is the creator of Aihrde. Aihrde has 25 years of development and 12,000 years of in-game history. So she's chunky. She's complex. And we're following the story of an elven prince who's going mad. The world of Aihrde is currently experiencing an apocalyptic event that lasts for 1,000 years called the Winter Dark, in which a evil god called Unklar, otherwise known as the Horned God, conquers the world, and blots out the sun, brings a 1,000-year winter across the land. And the elves see this coming, and they're like, peace, see ya. So the elves leave, and some elves remain, and one of the elves who remains curses all of the other elves. And so Meltaug Lothian, the elven prince and our protagonist, is suffering the curse of madness from this curse, as he is seeking revenge on Unklar and on a way to bring all of his people back to Aihrde to fight the Horned God and end the Winter Dark. We've been rated a lot tonight. I'm a very lucky lady, and I've explained this 3 times, and I hope that was coherent. You're up to the line? No, I don't think it's actually even scary. Ty, I don't know if Kozlov's mummy is scary enough. I don't know if I'm scared. When are you going to take the kid gloves off? I'm going to really regret that in like 6 days. Okay, no. Wait. No. No. I'm kidding. Here's the thing. Ty is an excellent lore keeper. Keeper of the lore, keeper of the Cthulhu, an excellent Cthulhu keeper, and scared my pants off by just showing me a pocket watch last night. That's all it took. My jimmies were rustled by a pocket watch. Keeper of nightmares, yeah. God, dude. So anyway, I'm gonna just like finish this, and then we're gonna hang out, and from there it's all yapping. So he's just had this vision. The wolf looked over his shoulder and leapt into the woods. The vision spun in its attempt to follow the leaping wolf, and all became a blur in distance and time until at last the wolf stopped at the edge of that's a typo. At the edge of a wide, greenish-blue lake. In the middle of the lake stood the ruins of an old castle, ruined towers and crumbling walls, much of it swallowed by trees and other forest debris. That is Autumno, and those are the Twilight Woods. Meltaug's voice trailed off into the swamp. And that was chapter 7 of Castle of Spires. I think from here on, we're just gonna chill. I didn't realize this my first time reading back through the Castle of Spires, but learning that Meltaug knows who Autumno is kind of places us near the end of the Winter Dark, which I actually didn't know when in the Winter Dark the Castle of Spires story took place. We're towards the end, actually. Autumno is the result of the relations between Daladon the half-elf, who is actually the one who cursed all of the elves, thanks for that, Daladon, and Wenifar, who is the goddess of basically fauna. She's not like a goddess of nature. That's the domain of Mordias. But Wenifar kind of watches over all of the animals of Aihrde. She created all of the birds. Her favorite animals were birds. Those were her favorite creations. And she is extremely powerful. And so Unklar trapped her. he put an enchantment over a pool of water, led her there with birds, and then as soon as she looked into the water, she was ensorcelled. And then Unklar wove a mist around that spot so that no one could find her and rescue her. Until someone did, Daladon. And then Wenifar and Daladon slept together, and Wenifar gave birth to a child. Not a child. She gave birth to an eldritch... I'll just cut to the chase. She gave birth to the god of nightmares. Utumno is the lord of nightmares. He knows the deepest fears of every living creature, including probably Unklar. And other thing about Utumno is a water-dwelling god. He lives in the sea. And Unklar, famously, is afraid of the sea. I just think that's interesting. Can we talk about our normal stuff, like making weapons out of flying squirrels? Dude, we've got to do that again. We've got to do another chat plays. I've got to figure out another adventure. I need more bits. I need more bits to reference. Thiazi! Hey, I love you in Campaign 4. Thank you for the follow. I recently picked up COC and a book with 3 adventures. Saw Seth Skorkowski did a review of one of the adventures in it. I've never run nor played, but intrigued. Interesting. Yeah, Call of Cthulhu is really cool. I've heard it described as crunchy. Maybe it's just because I'm lucky to be playing with some very smart people who are familiar with the system, but I've found it really quite intuitive, and like not that hard to figure out. I think you would like it. Thank you for streaming. Well, thank you. Oh, gee whiz. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. That was all I had in the tank. So, I don't know. We've been talking about a little bit of lore. One cool thing about Utumno, he's kind of regarded as the counterpart to Saint Luther, who in Aihrde is the Lord of Dreams. I don't necessarily know what Luther and Utumno's relationship is. It's said in the Codex of Aihrde that any contest between Utumno and Luther would end in Luther's favor because Luther actually knows Utumno's greatest fear. And I guess his dreams. And Utumno only knows Luther's greatest fear. I don't know. Apparently Luther is the greater of those two. But I really like the character of Utumno. We meet him later in the Castle of Spires, and he's very cool. Call of Cthulhu pretty much says combat is not an alternative. Tell that to Doris, my character. She was given a gun last session. What is she gonna do with a gun? What? I'm gonna shoot Cthulhu? What am I gonna do? Shoot Cthulhu? Hell, I'll shoot Cthulhu. Why not? I'll try it. Really, I feel like that gun is more of like a hazard in Doris's possession. She had like a critical, she critically failed a sanity check in like the first episode and had like a violent outburst. So the thing to give her is definitely a gun. Swing big. Yeah, you just swing big. Shoot yourself so your soul doesn't get devoured. Would that help? Doris is a woman of God. Would that help? I guess so. Maybe? I don't know. Forget the faces. Aim for the moon. Forget the fences. The fences. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see where the game goes. And I'm excited to get into the second episode of Aired Out. Let me know if you guys have any questions about Aired. or about the story that we've just read. I don't know if I'll have answers, but I can try. In the meantime, I'm gonna Google right now an update on our slime mold romance. Hang on. Toppy and body update. We're gonna share this moment. Did you mean Toppy and booty update? No! No, I did not. Thank you. I don't need a booty update. I'm fine. Okay, here's a quick update on Body. Body looks to be eating oat flakes. Body is alive. I repeat, Body is alive. Body is covering 3 oat flakes, which is good. So Body is eating. I want to know what happened to Body and Toppy's babies, because Body and Toppy merged. And Body made babies. I don't know how, but that did happen. Okay, Body is fine. Wait. Okay, so we saw that the spores from Toppy and Body finally hatched. They hatch? Slime mold spores hatch? Okay, so the guy is transferring Toppy and Body's spore babies to their own petri dish and environment. And apparently things are looking good. OMG, I just signed in. There's a slime mold saga again. The slime mold saga never left. Okay, I feel good hearing that they're alive. Whoops. They're alive, they're good. And the spore mold's babies are chill. Ooh, Aihrde question. Who is the most morally wrong? Corthane, Orndul, or Unklar? And why? Ooh, I love this question. Okay, I want to make a case for all 3 of them. You all let me know what you think. I assume this is exactly how things play out with oozes and slimes in dungeons. It is now. At least in my dungeons. So Corthane is responsible for the judgment. It's actually just called the Judgment of Corthane. The Judgment of Corthane happened in, I think, the 5th Rin of Aihrde, the 5th age. God, Ty, we talked about this. We found out which age it was, and I forgot. The Judgment of Corthane forbid the gods from interacting directly with mortals. I think you're right. Okay. 5th age, let's call it. Pretty late in Aird's history. The Winter Dark is the 7th age. 6th age. Yeah. And we're now in the 7th age after Winter Dark. Okay. So Corthane cast a blanket judgment across all of the people of Aihrde, and forbid the gods from interacting with them directly, which caused some complications in the fight against Unklar. Corthane also is in favor of the Gonfod. The Gonfod, of course, is the end of all things, when the river of the Allfather's thought runs to its end and gathers in the deep pools and expires and folds in upon itself, and the world ends and everything ends. Corthane is in favor of that coming to pass. Orndul is fighting against it to save the world because he doesn't want the world to end. However, Orndul is also pretty much the lord of the Wretched Plains, the inventor of hell, and did have his own tyrannical rule over Aihrde that was not as bad as the Winter Dark, but I think it was mainly not as bad as the Winter Dark because it was much earlier in Aird's history and there weren't as many people to hurt. And maybe it was that bad. Maybe it was as bad. He didn't chain the sun and moon to rocks beyond the reach of the world and blot out the sun and cause an unceasing winter for 1,000 years, but he did defeat everybody and wreck everything for a long time, pretty much until he got bored. So Orndul's pretty bad. I think Unklar is the worst of all, but it's a toss-up between Orndul and Unklar. Like, who is at their core the worst guy, you know? Unklar laid roads. Is that something? Do we like roads? Deep down, I always knew my slime, mold, and ichor encounters needed more romance. See, Rick, now you're thinking like a troll. Welcome to the dens. Shoot me. Take me out back. Put me down like a dog. No one is an asshole like a lawful good holy roller. I would rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints. The sinners are much more fun. What is that from? That's a good line. I think that Corthane is objectively better than Onglar and Orndul because of the three of them, he's the only one who did not wreck the world. He didn't wreck the world. He changed it forever. But he is invested in the happiness of the people and wants them to be free. Orndul and Unklar explicitly don't want that. They want to rule the world and for it to be their like torture playground for death and bloodshed and gore forever until the end of time. Past the Gonfod, no end of time, infinite, just bad stuff forever. Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel. Okay, gotcha. I haven't listened to a lot of Billy Joel. Hey, Waffles, welcome in. Slime, molds, and love, the icons for the Summer of Siege. Here's the thing. Okay, so we've been talking about our Call of Cthulhu game because I cannot shut up about it. My friend Maui, who is my castmate in the Call of Cthulhu game, has just invited me to do something. And I might have to bring slime mold into it for the bit. It is a podcast where if I were to go on, I would be like interviewed and we would talk about world building and we would build a one-shot together, and then there would be a follow-up where we run the one-shot, and I kind of think it has to be slime mold romance. It kind of sounds like a vibe. It kind of sounds like the vibe. The only vibe. Speaking of Maui, I wonder if he's still alive, because we might raid Maui. Are they live? They are live. Okay, they're on their break right now, so maybe we'll raid into them a little bit later. That would fit perfectly with the vibe. Good. I'm glad you think so. Slimecast. Hey, Ty, how is it too late to rebrand Aired Out to be Slimecast? Just like Romeo and Juliet, but slime and slime farming and some frustrated slime farmers. Oh my god, wait. Okay. You play as the PC, oh my god, fuck. I'm like having a conniption. You play as the slime farmers, and the slimes are multiplying and they're having spores. They're doing spores. There's spores involved. And you're farmers. Bum ba bum ba bum. And and you have to stop contaminants from corrupting your slime. One of the slimes is an imposter. It's a oh my god. I've lost Kev. I've lost myself. Now I'm just going. Between rival farmers who don't want their slimes mixing. Oh my god, but the slimes smell each other and they want to be together. Dude, it writes itself. I'm so happy. Here's the thing, okay? Here's why I feel no shame for the repeated return to slime mold romance. I don't bring it up. You all will notice that I brought it up the first time, I told you the story, and then I never talked about it again. And every time I've been live since then, y'all bring it up. More people than just me are thinking about it. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm bringing up the slime to see how long it takes to distract you. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, listen. I am but a man. I'm very simple. I can string together a sentence on a good day. Here we are. It's a good day, and we're talking about slime mold romance. You give me the prompt. I'll run away with it. Chat plays soon. We do. Here's the thing. For Summer of Siege, absolutely. We are doing, for sure, chat plays. We'll have to call it Clear Down. If we go until like next year's April Fools, if the bit isn't dead, it would be very funny. We just talk about slime for an hour. The other thing that it makes me think of is Dracula Flow. I'm gonna put you guys on Dracula Flow really quick. Hang on. Dracula Flow is a little bit core to my personality, I fear. If you saw me in 2025 at GaryCon, I'm sorry.
We straight gas.
I can't play that live on the internet. Slime? He calls people slime. And surely that's a thing that people do. I think it's hilarious. And I did, in character, refer to a stranger as a slime in Call of Cthulhu last night, and it felt really good. It felt really good to call somebody a slime. So that might have to enter the rotation forever. Is this the thing you've been quoting with Jeremy? This was the thing that I was quoting with Jeremy and Nick and Dakota in 2025. The thing that I've been quoting with Jeremy this year. This year's thing. Let me find it. Where's my ham? I left it right here. What's going on? I was crying in the booth. I was crying laughing in the booth. Shit. Hang on. Ham prank. Where's my ham? I left it right here. God, we still have like eerie music playing. What's going on? Okay. With those parting shots. Hang on. Where's our... Yeah, there we go. Dude, I'm saying funk is the way to go for when you're working, you know? And you need like music for your work. Cowboy funk, Space funk. Just look up blank funk on YouTube and you'll have a good time. This is all a plot to support Big Slime. Here's what Big Slime doesn't want you to know. Scientists hate her. Dentists hate her. Everyone hates her because she won't stop talking about slime. I'd call it, back to Shakespeare again, Drulio and Juliet. Drulio is criminal. You are going away for a long time. Can we, let's lock him up. Lock him up, boys. Mods if you're here. I don't think there's any mods in chat besides me. All right, is Maui back? No, Maui, come back. Oh my God. I think they're playing Triangle Agency. I've been wanting to play Triangle Agency actually forever, and I've never done it. When I first heard Clinton was running for president, I thought it was George Clinton, the Funk Master. We need the Funk Master in office. I don't know who George Clinton is, but I'll vote for the Funk Master. Fuck it. I think Triangle Agency starts tomorrow. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Good to know. Most excellent. I'm trying to think if anything has happened lately that I can like tell you guys about. We've got a lot of secret stuff happening right now in the dens. I want to get World of Warcraft back on my computer. I keep talking about the guild and not doing it. I realized today that I don't actually have World of Warcraft on my PC. What video games are you guys playing right now? Stop teasing the secret stuff. I can't. Here's the thing. I can't keep a secret, actually, to save my life. I really can't. So I have to, like, talk around it. If it's a secret in the den, Steve will probably leak it on Tuesday. Don't ask him. He can't even know that I've told you this much, that there is a secret. Mech Warrior 5 and Windrose. What is Windrose? I low-key want to get Minecraft. I heard from somebody. Oh my God, who was this? I think it was someone in chat during the Castle Zagig campaign, or maybe this was last week during my stream. Someone who said that they are building their world, their fantasy world, in Minecraft. And that sounds fucking awesome. It's very inspiring. What I've been doing lately is actually like building out some of my characters in The Sims and having them live regular lives that are not touched by demons or end in drowning. Playing Hollow Knight with my oldest. Oh man, Hollow Knight's such a good game. Hightail. I've not heard of that one. What's that one about? Windrose is an early access pirate-themed survival game. It has co-op and you can build fleets together. You've got to be kidding. That sounds sick. Windrose. What? Dude, this looks awesome. Wait, okay, did any of you guys play the Pirates of the Caribbean MMO? What was that called? I'm Googling it. Was it just Pirates of the Caribbean Online? I think it was. Man, that game rocked. That was so much fun. wish I had time to play games again. I picked up the SSI Gold Box games on a Humble Bundle a few months ago and haven't had a chance to play them. Aw, bummer. I hope for that for you. I hope that you get a break. Hytale is a lot like Minecraft, still in early access. It looks to finally take me away from Minecraft after 15 years. Damn! Has Minecraft been out for 15 years? That's crazy. Time flies, man. That's nuts. I did check my hours on Sims. I have been playing that for well over 15 years. Actually, when did The Sims 4 come out? Hang on. 2014, so 12 years. I've been playing it at least 12 years. Is that right? Whatever. Over 1,000 hours. Whatever. I'm not gonna go digging. All 4 of my kids have played Minecraft. I have bought that game 75 times at this point. It's a really good one for kids. I don't know. Like, that's a fun sandbox. It's pretty cool. Better than Roblox. Shit. I'm a glutton for punishment. I make a unique intro video for every one of my Bad News Bard streams. I was extremely proud of last Sunday's. That's awesome. I wish I had the patience for video editing. I find it so... this could be user error and just like me being bad at it. I find it extremely time consuming. If I have to do like a video project for Trollord, it takes me at least a full business day, a full 8 hours to like carve through it, and oftentimes multiple. Whenever I did that like tabletop RPG tier list that's on our YouTube channel, that video is like 40 minutes. It took me like 4 days. Oh my god, and the Twitch chat plays YouTube video is one of my proudest creative works. I'm so proud of that video. I think it's so funny. And that one involved taking a 3-hour stream and condensing it down to also, I think, about 40 minutes, maybe 30. But oh my god, that one took me... How long did that take? I mean, a week-ish, give or take. All right, we got 30 seconds to raid into Reflect Games. So we're gonna go ahead and just start it. Thank you all again so much for coming in here and hanging out. Reflect Games is awesome. This is the channel that's run by my friend Maui. Oops, I spelled it wrong. I wrote Reflect Gams. Whoops. Reflect Games. Maui is extremely cool. If you guys have a moment to hang out and just like say hi and say something nice about their stream, Maui's just an extremely sweet person, and getting to know him has been an absolute pleasure. I mean, reflect these games. So hang out, say something nice about the stream, chat with the community. Let's make their day, because y'all have seen it. I mean, you guys saw how much it like broke my brain when Jay and the Critical Fail team raided in here. So if you have a moment to spare, hang out. I'll be hanging out, and we'll hang out together. But thank you all so much for joining me on Wednesday. I'll be back next Wednesday with more of this, and another episode of Aired Out is coming. So go in peace, make the words, do good. I will see you next week. Well, really, I'll see you tomorrow over on Lord Gazumba's channel. Did I mention that? I'm going to go live with Lord Gazumba tomorrow. I'm going to be playing with them. So first I'll see you tomorrow, and then I'll see you Monday, and then I'll see you Tuesday over on Guild Superior, and then I'll see you Wednesday back here. Anyway, I'll see you later. I'm just gonna let it.